Welcome back to Sunday Vibes. We're back in the pub. The usual three are here. We're starting straight away with the usual fan. It's Swagato Sarkar, the number one guy. He says, what do you guys think about Pulisic being linked to Real Madrid, and is he the best option to replace Gareth Bale? No. There's the answer
We're asked at least 100 questions a week.
Yeah.
And Swagato sneaks in 1 in 3, doesn't it? It's almost like the person who's responsible for picking these questions is getting a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Pato. Anyway, Pato, what do you think about Pulisic to Madrid? Surely they're not the right bloke, is he?
He's not going to give you an elite attack straight away on his own. However, he's 10 years younger than Gareth Bale, and I do think he's an excellent prospect. He's taken a bit of a step back this season. If you look at his chances created, they've gone down 1.5 to 1.2. Shots are down. Even defensive contribution is down. That's a bit worrying. He's produced, I think, 3 goals, 3 assists in about the same number of minutes as he played last year when he got 6 assists and 3 goals. But I do think that there are extenuating circumstances here. So he's playing on a much worse coach. Like, I don't think Boss or Sturger are anywhere near the level of Tuchel.
True.
And I also think that last season, when defenders were looking at that Dortmund attack, they had to deal with Aubameyang, they had to deal with Ousmane Dembele, and they had to deal with Pulisic. And that gives Pulisic more time and more space. This season, Dembele's gone, Aubameyang's now gone, Royce is still injured most of the time, Yarmolenko hasn't been quite as decisive as they wanted him to be. And as a result, defenders know that if you stop Pulisic, you kind of stop Dortmund. That's a lot of pressure for a 19-year-old. And also, I don't think player development is ever linear. You very rarely see a player who, has this production this year, and this production the next year, and this production the year after. You tend to see little plateaus and then jumps.
Good
and
point.
I think 19 years old, he's still got basically 4 years before we expect him to hit his peak. On the other hand, Real Madrid don't really have time to wait for that
That's
guy.
my 100% point.
They
Real
need
Madrid
someone
don't have the time to wait for
They
Christian
need someone who
Pulisic.
produces now, and from that point of view, you think that a Dybala or something would make more sense.
Who would you go for, Hamster Pulisic or no?
Well, we say Real Madrid need to replace Gareth Bale, but this is a guy who's missed 70-odd match days since he's been at the club, and they've won a league and Champions League without him. He was hugely influential in the Champions League campaign before that, and he has contributed well when he's come in at the turn of the year. He was displaying a decent bit of form, wasn't he? A couple of goals here and there early January. But again, seems to have dipped out of the side. We were talking in Continental Club about how Markov think his time is definitively over. They're looking to offload him to someone like Manchester United. So I actually don't think they need to necessarily bring in a similar calibre of player, especially when they've got Asensio literally waiting in the wings. Asensio, hugely impressive against PSG, so he can definitely do it against your Celta Vigos, your Deportivos. So I actually think Zidane would be fairly comfortable with losing him and maybe just reinvesting that across, 2 or 3 prospects in the same sense that he did with Ceballos and Hernandez, who still haven't seen much game time either. And historically, he's not spent big, has he? I think he's actually one of the first Real Madrid managers in modern history to be in the black. So I don't think they need to go all guns blazing. Pulisic, though, I agree with you, struggling, but Dortmund struggling as a whole. I still think he's a supremely talented player.
I think Madrid do need a superstar. I think maybe they need 2 or 3 superstars.
What?
I think that Bale will definitely go in the summer. I think, will they sell Benzema? They probably won't sell
PSG with Modric and Kroos on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking more in an attacking sense. In that Bale, 29 now, probably going to be sold. Terrible injury record. I think Benzema probably coming up to 1 more season he's got at the club, and Cristiano Ronaldo probably 2 seasons left because he has fully transitioned into a striker now. Let's have it right. People that still see him as a winger, other than that PSG game, which was a complete anomaly, the fact that he kind of drifted out to the right, he is now effectively, but he is effectively a striker or a second striker now. So I think that not necessarily Zidane's choice will be to sign a superstar, because I kind of agree with you. I think in Zidane's head, he would like to spread that cash, maybe buy another midfielder, a centre back, back up behind Ramos and Varane, and another forward. But I think Florentino Perez is going to spend massive.
I mean, they've been long linked with Eden Hazard, haven't they? Who's more of a natural replacement for someone like Bale.
Yeah.
And as much as you're saying, like, Zidane hasn't spent a lot of money, and like they've got Vinicius Junior turning up at some point.
50 mil.
What's he going to do?
I actually completely forgot about Vinicius.
I forgot about him.
I don't think Zidane spent that money either.
Well, true.
Yeah, but I think that's exactly what happened this summer. I don't think Zidane will spend the money, but I think Perez will spend big. And I don't necessarily know whether it will be on Hazard. I think there are arguments he might maybe have a dip into a Manchester City team. Maybe he'll. Well, we've heard in the past, haven't we, that the conspiracies around Neymar. Obviously, don't necessarily believe them, but I think Madrid are going to have a really good go at trying to get Neymar out of PSG this season.
I think they're going to have a go at Salah.
Mate.
Salah
as
potentially.
to ban PSG,
Salah
potentially.
I also think they might have a good go at Leroy Sané.
As soon as you're right.
But I don't see them get. I really struggle
What
to
makes
see.
you say they're going to have a good go at Leroy Sané?
I think that he's the sort of player they could develop into an absolute Galactico superstar.
I think if there's one club at the top whose players are secure at said club, it's Manchester City. No one wants to leave this current Manchester City setup. Everyone wants to be coached by Pep. They're a team in the ascendancy, and
I agree, but
they
we've
could
seen it in
become
the
the number
past.
one force in
Teams in
world
the
football.
ascendancy still sell to Real Madrid. Man United won the Champions League and
I
then sold the best player to Real Madrid.
I think Sané's going.
Man United were the champions of Europe and then sold Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid. It's hard to stop these
But he
players
harboured
joining.
aspirations of going to Madrid.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean Leroy Sané wants to go there, but I just think that's the sort of player they're going to look to sign.
Dynamic wide guys who can score goals.
I don't know, but I don't
the
think they'll
type,
be
isn't it?
able to sign them. I think that's Real Madrid's biggest problem. Is the market is such now. Man City, if Madrid came in for Sané, there's no deal they could strike, arguably, that would be worth the money. He's like a 150, 160 million pound player to Manchester City, if they want to be. It's the same with Eden Hazard. Chelsea can go, okay, he's 200 million. It's exactly the same with Neymar. PSG can go, he's 400 million. What are you going to do about it? Because they're all under long contracts, and the current state of the market dictates that these players could cost whatever. Mohamed Salah, Liverpool could legitimately go as a 180 million pound player.
I think they would do that, but I also think Real Madrid would consider paying that.
It's
I really
insane
do.
though. That's what the market is. But I think one of these, Real Madrid will 100% spend 100 million pound plus on a forward this summer.
Like, one of the things they're missing if Bale goes is genuine speed up front, isn't it? So I could see them going all guns blazing for someone like Mohamed Salah, because he offers them that. I think Zidane's he's displayed a fair amount of loyalty to that squad, hasn't he? I see him playing Benzema and Ronaldo next season, possibly Lucas Vasquez or Asensio.
I completely
and that's
agree.
why I kind of think that he's going to move
He
forward.
doesn't have control over those transfers.
There's some control.
But to the extent where they're
I'm
going
not
out spending
sure.
50 million on
Over the last
Vinicius
2 or 3
Junior, like you
years,
said.
only Vinicius Junior has really struck me as a Florentino
he's
Perez buy, and the sale of Alvaro
I feel
Morata.
like he's had the license to do that because he's won the league and he's won the Champions League.
And he might get. I don't know. I think Perez will say we are going to buy a big forward.
Yes.
And you get a say in who that forward is.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
We are spending
But we are spending
150
a massive
on
amount of money
somebody.
on a striker.
I mean, Ousmane Dembele would have been the smart move. Like, this is
What about Harry Kane? Not necessarily the direct replacement for Gareth Bale, but
I don't see how that solves their problem in the meantime.
I really see him playing for Madrid.
I would want Harry Kane if I were them. I mean, and they've been rumoured to be interested in Timo Werner as well.
Yeah.
Like a young fast forward would make sense. But I still don't see how that solves the issue of like connecting the midfield to the attack, and all these other players would do that. You know, well, maybe Salah less. Salah is basically a forward now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just only see Florentino Perez spending a massive amount of money this summer.
Yeah.
I don't see a world in which Real Madrid spend another 20, 30 million pounds on young future prospects when they're falling
They
behind
finished
Barcelona or finishing
I mean,
third.
I wouldn't be surprised either, which is not a really helpful conclusion, is it? But
Yeah, it's not really. But what do you think they're going to do? And who do you think they're going to sign? Let us know in the comments below. Before we move on to our next question, it's hot takes time. You've been sending your controversial opinions all week. It's me versus you. Let's do it. Today I'm taking on your spiciest opinions. The first one comes from Brendan Lillies, and he tweeted at me saying, Kaká is the most overrated player in football history. Now, where to start with an idiot like Brendan? Number one, He was a fabulous player, possibly one of my favourite players ever to watch in full flight. He used to glide across the turf like a gazelle. He was like Zinedine Zidane at times. This bloke won World Cups with Brazil, multiple league titles in Italy, league titles in Spain, the Champions League, the Ballon d'Or, before his knee exploded. He was playing on one leg for the back half of his career, and he was still fantastic. To call him overrated is an absolute disgrace. Brendan, quite frankly, you're a mug. The next one comes from Dominic Moffat, who says, Rooney should be recalled for the England squad and play alongside Eric Dyer as a holding midfielder. Sickening. Rooney, horrendous in midfield for Manchester United, hasn't got any better for Everton since joining them. He's not really locked down a place in a mediocre Everton side, yet we're asking him to start at the World Cup for England, despite the fact he's no longer in the England setup thanks to Gareth Southgate. It's absolute madness. Not even getting into the fact that Gareth's going to play a 3-5-2, which would leave just 2 central midfield options. You're going to have Rooney in one of those, are you? Alongside Dyer. Fabulous creativity. You stupid man, Dominic. The next one comes from Josh S, and he says Hazard is streaks ahead of Neymar. The only thing the Brazilian has over Eden is shooting. By the way, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm a Watford boy. My God, Josh, what's happened to you recently? I don't think he's ever scored more than 20 goals in all competitions in a single season. I think of the 10 professional seasons Neymar's had, every single season, bar 3, he's got over 20. In the 2013-14 sorts of season, he was scoring upwards of 30, nearly 40 goals in a single campaign. This is a player who's won the Champions League, he's won trebles, he's doing it for fun for Brazil. How's Hazard doing on the international stage? Not particularly well. And have we just already forgotten about that season 2 seasons ago when Hazard scraped to 5 league goals? For goodness sake. The next one comes from JPMC. Joe Cole was the last naturally talented English player. Joe Cole is 5 years older than Wayne Rooney. Really? Diarmuid Gillingham has the next question, and he said, I would put Mbappe and Marcus Rashford in the same bracket of standard of player. I don't see what the Frenchman does that Marcus can't. Probably score a shit ton of goals is the simple one. I mean, Marcus has never got more than 5 in the Premier League, has he? And I think Mbappe, debut season, smashed in 16, and I think he got 4 in 4 in the knockout stage of the Champions League, age 18. I mean, Rashford's pretty good, but Mbappe, possibly one of the most talented youngsters I've ever seen. Rashford, not even the most talented youngster at United. The final one comes from Football Mark, who says Pochettino doesn't need to win a trophy to prove he's an elite manager. I fail to see how winning an FA Cup or League Cup would make him a better manager than he already is. Well, silverware is generally a barometer for success. Pochettino doesn't have any silverware at this current stage, so he's not overall succeeding with that Tottenham team. I think in 5 to 10 years, we're going to look back at this Tottenham team and go, how the hell did Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Davinson Sanchez, Moussa Dembele, Victor Wanyama, Hugo Lloris, Kyle Walker, Danny Rose never win a title or a trophy under Pochettino? In 5 to 10 years, some of these players might be the best players of their generation. And right now, they're out of the Champions League, they're out of the Premier League. Are they still in the FA Cup? Don't know, don't care, but they're definitely not in the League Cup because Man City have already won it. So Pochettino needs to win silverware to prove he is one of the best in the world, in my opinion.
So obviously you've got to pull you up on one of your stupid opinions there. Like, I know it's your birthday, but you are a f***ing idiot. Like, the Pochettino thing, why does he need to win a trophy? Like, and how big a trophy does he need to win to prove he's a good manager? Does it have to be the Premier League?
Doesn't necessarily have to prove he's a good manager. Doesn't mean he's a good manager. An elite manager is the difference.
What counts as elite? How many managers in the world are elite?
Statman Dave's favourite word.
Trophy winners.
That's mental.
It's not mental.
What, so Roberto Martinez is elite? He won the FA Cup with Wigan.
What is the point of building a good team if you never win anything?
Because you can leave them in a better position. What if you're overachieving with them? So, for instance, so Sean Dyche, for instance, Sean Dyche. What is
average manager?
He's won nothing.
Average manager.
Well, I don't think Sean Dyche.
It's starting to change my opinion.
Getting Burnley promoted twice from the Championship is no joke.
Yeah.
The same goes for someone like Steve Bruce, who's got like 3 teams promoted.
Doesn't make a difference. Paul Tisdale spent 17 years at Exeter City.
Yeah,
doesn't mean he's a good manager.
I mean, it means something. Like, I'm not saying he's elite, but my point is that you can achieve something for a club that goes beyond just like having a bit of silver.
No, 100%. But
promotion to Burnley means more than winning the League Cup for like Swansea.
At some stage, he has to turn this top ability that he has tactically and apparently man management-wise into something that produces trophies. He has to win a trophy. He's at the moment in the realms of Kevin Keegan level. I'm serious. When he was consistently challenging Man United for that title in the late 90s
It's an eye-watering
with a really good Newcastle team and just never got it over the line.
I just don't see how that's true, man. Like, I mean,
I think that does a little bit of a disservice to the job he's done so far at Tottenham. I mean, as a fan,
He has done a great job at Tottenham.
You'd want him to eventually win something, yes, and it'd be a shame if we spoke about this Tottenham team as perpetual nearly men. That would be the biggest crime because they do play great football and they're miles away from the brand of football they were playing under a litany of like, bang average managers like Harry Redknapp, Juan de Ramos, Tim Sherwood.
I think he's basically taking a team and getting them to pretty much the top level of the talent they have. Like, do you see anybody in that team who's performing below their talent level?
No, I think they're all fantastic players, but there's clearly, I don't know whether it's a mental block they're going through where they hit that, everybody's just a bag full of nerves, and there was like a 2-minute period or a 3-minute period against Juventus where one goal went in and they were absolutely all over the place for about 120 seconds.
We don't see that in the league.
Not necessarily in the league, but we also saw it against Chelsea away when the pressure started to get piled on. They went 1-0 down and then capitulated and lost the league title to Leicester, or lost the chasing pack to Leicester.
I don't think they were ever in the conversation really seriously for that league title. So so you think Pochettino's going to go? When do you think he'll go?
Yeah, I think he'll go not the end of this season, the end of next season.
Ooh.
And I think he'll probably go to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. Not a Barcelona, a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich.
Wow.
I think, I mean, we've seen it in Spain with Valverde, a very good coach with a team that should probably be finishing in the top 5. And he's gone to that bigger club and made an instant impact. I think Pochettino does have that in him, which would kind of make him an elite level manager now. What is the barometer of elite? The job that they're doing or the job that they could do? Because there's a lot of
the job
context
that they're doing.
You have to take into consideration.
It is all about your opinion on how you consider elite, on what level you consider elite.
Yeah, it seems a little bit reductive.
But he needs to turn this Tottenham team into. I don't know how he does it either. I kind of agree with you. I don't know what he has to do to make this Tottenham team start performing when it matters.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at earlier. I think it's just persistence. I think they are just knocking on the door, and if they can keep the squad together and the manager, then they will win something over the next year, 2 years.
I do think they've kind of missed their shot in the Champions League a bit. I think this season was a good opportunity for them because Bayern are kind of in transition. I think they'll get Tuchel in next season and be way better. I think PSG will have a better coach. City is still going to be great. Liverpool are going to be a lot better next season, I think, with the additions they're going to make. So I think this was their opportunity to go really deep in the Champions League.
And they were playing,
and they fucked it up.
Not the best Juventus side we've seen over the last few years.
No, though Juventus, I do think you have to give credit to Allegri, who just made some
sublime substitutions.
Changing.
I think he's a chronically underrated manager.
Some formation change. His formation change last night when he brought on Lichtsteiner was inspiring.
Imagine bringing on Asamoah and Lichtsteiner when you were chasing the game.
It was genius. It was genuinely genius. And
He's
it wasn't just that. It was like I mean that. I don't know. Maybe it takes Pochettino doing that to.
But anyway, I stick by my point that he has to win a trophy. He has to win it soon as well. He can't just keep being that perennial nearly man.
Yeah, because otherwise, I suppose you could argue that people will look back in the history books in 10 years' time and they'll be like,
how did they not win a trophy?
They'll be like,
that
Spurs
team?
came second, and Arsenal won 3 FA Cups in 4 years.
And also,
so Arsenal must have been the better side.
And also,
that would be mental.
I feel like in 5 years, people are going to look back at this Tottenham team and go, fucking look at that Tottenham team. How do they not win a trophy?
That's a reasonable point. Yeah, okay.
Right
then.
What do you guys think about Pochettino? Does he need to win a trophy? Can he keep doing what he's doing and then get a big move? Let us know down there in the comments. And get your hot takes in next week. Don't know who's doing it yet. Will it be back to you? Will it be Zach Jalab?
I don't know, we'll see.
Probably someone new, yeah.
The final question of the day then comes from Ian on Twitter, and he says, if you had to take a manager from one of the bottom 10 teams in the Premier League and manage your club, who would it be and why?
Oh, what a dirty
fly
question. This
through
is a
that
question
quickly.
you expect from a guy called Ian.
So, candidates, we got Pardew, definitely not, Lambert, Hodgson, Pellegrino, Benitez, Wagner, Moyes, Carvajal, Howe, Allardyce.
Thanks, mate. Reading out all 10.
Allardyce.
I think you're a fucking idiot if you don't go for Rafa Benitez in this equation.
I couldn't go for Rafa Benitez at United, just couldn't happen. physically.
Well,
do better. He can
case
at
in
least
point,
do-
you're a
to
idiot.
defence.
He's won a Champions League, he's won 2 La Liga titles. He can coach your
He
defence.
hates United and United hate him.
United's defence is so bad. It's
Benitez
almost
does,
like watching
Benitez
Arsenal.
does invite a lot of hate that it probably isn't warranted. Like
Yeah.
Chelsea fans booing him.
No, but he had that proper falling out with United, Benitez.
Yeah, well, he went.
Facts.
Fact.
Fergie.
When Fergie just...
He
fucking
full
fucks.
on nibbled, didn't he?
Yeah,
Fergie had him on
full
a
well
fucking.
in his ear. I'd bring back
Robbed.
Moyes, mate, you know. Just bring him back. Just for the
Bring
laugh.
him back.
Why not?
Yeah.
No,
Banter.
obviously not. Probably Wagner.
Eddie Howe.
Probably Wagner.
Yeah.
You know
He's
what?
got
Allardyce.
decent
He's got
glasses.
United written all over him.
Even though I think
Allardyce reminds me of Ferguson.
Wagner will take Huddersfield down this season.
You think Huddersfield are going down?
Yeah.
Who else is going down then, in your view? I mean, West Brom. I assume
We all think West Brom are going to go down.
They're
Deservedly
shit.
so.
They've got the
8
worst
points split.
manager.
8 points off.
They're terrible. You know who could have got something out of that squad at West Brom? Tony Pulis.
Yeah, probably would have done all right with him. I'm going to go Stoke.
Yeah.
Can't score a goal
So
and
Stoke,
can't
West-
stop conceding.
Stoke, West Brom, and Huddersfield.
Conceded
Stoke,
the
West
most
Brom and
goals in
Huddersfield.
Europe's top 5 leagues.
Stoke, West Brom and Huddersfield.
Poor
for
old
me.
Jack Butland.
I do think Southampton and Newcastle are in really bad trouble though, because
Neither one of them
they
can
can't score goals.
Neither one of them can score a goal.
Southampton in particular have scored 1 goal this season.
No, but I feel like it's understandable with Newcastle because Benitez just hasn't got any of his like primary targets. But Southampton have spent money on the forward from Monaco.
Yeah.
They've got Lamina in the
Korea.
squad, whose dribble numbers
He's
are
so good.
unreal. They've got Ryan Bertrand. They've got some very handy players.
Redmond can't get a game.
Nathan Redmond's
Gabbiadini.
been picking up splinters on the bench, hasn't he? Gabbiadini
He's
scored his
homeless.
first goal in like
Gabbiadini's drinking white lightning on a park
9,000
bench.
minutes.
So you're going to go Southampton to go down?
I think at this point, deservedly so, they've been fucking boring for weeks. So
Yeah.
I reckon maybe a Stoke, West Brom, and Southampton.
Oh.
Whereas teams that we expected to go down and should be down there by all means, your Brightons, your Huddersfields, they're playing out of their means.
Yeah.
They are overperforming.
I mean,
and
Huddersfield
think
over the last
their
few weeks have
managers
been poor, though.
deserve a lot of credit, but Huddersfield play in a particular way and they stick to it. They make themselves, they open themselves up to getting battered, don't they?
I think the best thing that Brighton have had is they've been very fortunate that Glenn Murray has kind of semi-made the step up. I don't think any of the other teams have the striker of Glenn Murray. That sounds horrendous, but Glenn Murray at least has contributed 12, 13 goals. I don't think
But they have-
some of the other sides in there
Their
even got 5 or
other
6.
players facilitate that, don't they? Have Pascal
Yeah,
Gross.
Iscarito's really helped.
Kiri,
Is Corrido has been
Benteke.
great, yeah.
Zaha. You know, like the other teams do with like forward.
But they haven't stepped up this
Talismanic
season.
forward.
No, they haven't this season.
Shaqiri
I
has.
think. Shaqiri's had
Shaqiri
joy.
actually
Three
has,
consecutive
yeah, Shaqiri
games.
has.
Yeah, Brighton haven't just had Murray, but what they've had is Pascal Gross, who's been like the architect of all of
Yeah.
that, right?
And his
Brian
Iscarito's
bought
done
well
really good.
as well, actually.
Really good signing.
Brian have bought
Pröper and Gross cost what? A combined 4-5 million?
Something like that.
I do think another massive Southampton error was not signing a striker in the summer. I cannot believe they didn't delve
But they-
into the
they-
market
they-
when they sold Jay
But they
Rodriguez.
bought Gabbiadini in January, and he'd had a good second half of the season.
But he'd
They
only,
obviously
no,
thought-
but he actually, I think he only had like a good 2 months.
But I think
Towards the
their
back end,
argument
he
there
was
was
really
that they
struggling.
thought that Puel was crippling the attack, despite
Yeah.
the fact that they had,
It's
I
true.
think, the 6th best expected goals numbers in the Premier League.
But then to sell Jay Rodriguez in the summer as well and not find a replacement for him,
Sure.
and then not bringing Carrillo in January, 6 months after you've sold your second option at striker, maybe third behind Shane Long, arguably. Such a risk.
But this is the thing, they've just had basically... The problem is, when you're in the lower half of the Premier League, you can basically be in a position where 2 or 3 signings don't go as you wanted, and you can get relegated.
Yeah.
So, you know, Buffal didn't work out the way they wanted, Redmond hasn't kicked on, Gabbiadini had a bad half of the season, and now Southampton are in, what, 17th?
And we're seeing it at Everton as well. Cenk Tosun's only just scored his first goal.
Yeah.
45 million on Gylfi Sigurdsson, not good value for money. And Brighton actually have overtaken in the league.
Yeah, with 3 good signings.
And we were talking about Everton after that initial period with Sam Allardyce as like safe, progressing, solid. And
Yeah.
it's now everyone is a 3-game swing away from fucking disaster. It was
Yeah, it's great.
It's great to watch
It's
that.
great, isn't it?
I can't believe that Arsenal's sick. They only started registered, as I was saying, Leicester have an outside chance for Europa League football. No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that worrying? Like, look how bad Arsenal are, and they're safe in 6th. That shows how bad the rest of the league is. Though I think next season, give Puel a full year, and if Arsenal with this again, then I can see him finishing above them.
Yeah, let's wrap it up anyway because we're just waffling now.
Wanna go
Benitez to Arsenal, basically.
Benitez to Arsenal. That's the conclusion of Ian's question, which we just took on a totally different tangent. So apologies, Ian. So that's the end of Sunday Vibes. If you want to get your questions featured, get them in the comments now and send us your hot takes on Twitter. Pat, what's happening on 90+1?
90+1 facts about Paris Saint-Germain, just in time to celebrate their
demise.
Exit from the Champions League. Obviously, while they win they win Ligue 1 by about 35 points. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's an interesting one this week because they're obviously a club none of us really know that much about. They've only been around for 40 years. So head over to 90+1 facts and you can learn everything you want to know about everyone's favourite bullshit plastic club.
Hamster, anything else happening? Stat Wars has
Me
happened?
and you had at it, didn't we?
We had at it. Went at it like two foxes in an alleyway.
I heard you humiliated yourself.
Apparently so, yeah.
So go and
I
watch
didn't
that.
humiliate myself actually.
No,
but
it was a good showing.
Didn't necessarily perform to how I would like to.
Christian Eriksen, mate, in the bag.
I know.
Big
Never
game.
mind. All right, bye.